So the Switch 2 has been fully unveiled along with the release date of the 5th of June. However, Nintendo stopped short of unveiling the price during the Direct, and let's just say I can see why. At £395.99 for the console, which is the weirdest price point ever, by the way, and £429.99 for the console with a digital copy of Mario Kart World, it's not exactly cheap. Now, the general consensus online seems to be that this is a fairly okay price. I would have liked it to come in cheaper, wouldn't everyone? But my hope was that it comes in under £400, and it does do that by £4 and a penny, but I would have liked to see it pushing more towards that £300. For £34 more, you get a copy of Mario Kart World, and that may not seem like a big saving, but the physical copy of Mario Kart World will run you an insane, and I can't believe I'm saying this, £74.99. What are you doing, Nintendo? What are you doing? Thankfully, the digital edition is cheaper, but only £8 cheaper, which means the bundle price will save you around £32.99. So that means you get the digital game at about half price in this bundle. But wait, there's more. The incredible looking Donkey Kong Bonanza that releases about 6 weeks after the launch of the console comes in at a lower but still gut-punching £66.99 for the physical edition and £58.99 for digital. The Mario branded microSD Express cards in collaboration with Samsung and SanDisk will set you back £49.99 for just 256 gigabyte, which may seem pricey. I had a strong reaction to that when I saw them, as you can get an SD card, a standard SD card, at about £15 to £25 depending on brand for 256 gigabyte. However, I've seen the current Express microSD card prices are about that price, if not a little bit more, and with this you get a cute little Mario brand on it too. The Nintendo Switch 2 camera, the first peripheral for the system, will cost £49.99, which actually feels surprisingly reasonable, to be honest. That checks out. Unlike the Switch 2 GameCube controller, this bad boy is £58.99 for a wireless GameCube controller. What are we doing, Nintendo? Why are we charging this much? And if that wasn't bad enough, Nintendo have outdone themselves with their £74.99 Switch 2 Pro controller. But don't worry, it's okay, because there's two paddle buttons on the back now, a GL and a GR. Presumably grip left and grip right, as Nintendo takes you for all your money. So the Switch 2 costs a lot. In fact, to buy all of this at launch, you're looking in the range of £663.95 to
£704.94,
depending on which bundle you get. And that is with one game, Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart, but that's nearly £700 for one game. And that's without taking into account the upgrade prices for Switch games. Though it has been revealed since the Direct, some of these upgrades are free to all users, some are free to subscribers to Nintendo Online Plus expansion pack, and the rest are more robust and require all users to pay a price. So what do you get for all these hard-earned and getting harder to earn and save coins? Well, it's still not entirely clear. What we do know is there are some big screen improvements and display improvements. The console itself is the same thickness whilst increasing in length and height. This provides us with a larger 7.9-inch screen, but with that increase in size comes a resolution bump too, from the original Switch's 720p screen to a nice crisp 1080p, which at this form factor should look really crisp and sharp. especially when coupled with the new HDR10 support, providing bright and vivid colours on the Switch 2's wide colour gamut LCD screen. But that's not the best part. The new screen also has a 120Hz refresh rate, and games such as Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2 Edition are promising to utilise that with 120 frames per second performance mode at a resolution of 1080p, so the perfect match for handheld gaming. When docked, the console is capable of producing 1440p and 2160p resolutions. That's right, 2K and 4K if you prefer. It's also noted that the 1440p resolution is compatible with outputting 120 FPS, but that doesn't seem to be the case with Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo have yet to provide specifics about how the 4K output works on the Switch 2 console, and if the system is just brute forcing it, which I really doubt, or if it's using an upscaling technique as per the leaks and rumours for the past year or so, but I would expect that is the case. It's going to be using some sort of AI upscaling, hopefully an improvement over the PS4 Pro's upscaling systems. And of course, there's even more features, a storage bump from 32GB to 256GB, Wi-Fi 6 wireless communications, as well as a LAN port on the dock for a more stable online connection. Audio has been improved with better speakers and improved audio balancing for handheld and tabletop modes. There's also support for 3D audio via headset and through the built-in speakers, I guess in a sort of soundbar type of way. A built-in microphone, 2 USB-C ports, a 3.5mm audio jack, micro SD Express compatibility, improving on the OG Switch's standard micro SD card compatibility. A 5 to 20 milliamp battery provides 2 to 6.5 hours of gameplay, depending on what game you're playing and how intensive the settings are that you've chose. And it takes approximately 3 hours for a full battery charge. Whew, that was a lot, but if you're still here, maybe consider subscribing. That brings us on to the question of power and performance. There is a custom-made chipset by NVIDIA, details of which have yet to be shared, so we don't know the actual power of the thing, and this isn't surprising. Nintendo have been cagey about these sort of details before, with the Switch, the Wii U, the 3DS, and pretty much every console ever. But the third-party games show a bit of a clearer picture, with games like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Elden Ring showing that the system is absolutely capable of PS4 level performance. More interestingly is Cyberpunk 2077. With this game's notorious launch and the eventual abandonment of the PS4 and Xbox One versions, CD Projekt Red would have to be fairly confident the Switch 2 can run Cyberpunk. They're not going to want a repeat fiasco on this console, and Nintendo aren't going to want it as a launch title that just doesn't work. So this could suggest something a little more powerful than a PS4. But the evidence doesn't stop there. Square Enix seem to potentially tease more releases in the Final Fantasy VII Remake project coming to Switch 2. IO Interactive announced their James Bond title for the console, which presumably is going to be a full-blown AAA modern game, as well as Hazelight announcing their recently released and not enough time to make a downgraded version game Split Fiction is also coming to the Switch 2. These are titles that don't have a PS4 or Xbox One counterpart. This could mean we're looking at something more powerful than a PS4 or even a PS4 Pro. Maybe the Switch 2 is more in line with the Xbox Series S, which would bring it just about in line with the current gen of consoles, meaning Nintendo's no longer a generation behind. I mean, they're not firmly situated in this generation, but kind of there. So on balance, whilst the console itself seems pricey, I think there's evidence enough that it may, well, on paper, be worth the money. But of course, no console is complete without the games. And that brings us back to that Mario Kart World price. It seems an extortionately high amount. And I'm not trying to defend Nintendo or this price. It's a lot of money. But a lot has happened in the world in the past 8 years since the original Switch released. And a lot of those happenings have had a significant impact on the world's economy. And those happenings are still ongoing, and the economy is still being impacted. Prices have gone up, and wages have stagnated across the globe. And I wouldn't be surprised if games like Grand Theft Auto 6 receive even higher price tags. Now, what this means for the future of gaming and the accessibility of gaming in general, we don't yet know. But it's not great. Since recording this video, a bunch more information has come out about the Switch 2 and Nintendo's plans for it. But as I'm editing this video, I decided to add in 2 of the pieces of information we now have. One of those is that some European stores are setting the prices of the Switch 2 video games lower than Nintendo's recommended retail price. Now, this hasn't been seen in the UK yet, but it could happen. As for the US, the current political state has meant that there are tariffs being levied on all countries that aren't the United States. And Nintendo has now decided to postpone the pre-order availability of the Switch 2 in the United States. Now, we don't know how long for. We don't know when people in the United States are going to be able to pre-order, or if they're going to pre-order, or if the price they announced is going to stay the same. It's sort of happened right now as I'm editing the video. But as we stand at the moment, Nintendo haven't shown enough of Mario Kart World for any of us to feel truly comfortable about dropping £75 on it. And I don't know if they ever could, but I guess that could all change on April 17th when the exclusive Mario Kart Direct is released. But no matter what they show, I think that price is still gonna sting. Please subscribe, like, and comment. I'm trying to get to 100 subs, and I'm super excited to keep bringing more Switch 2 content to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!